Welcome everyone. This is this is day 3, part 3. I love this lesson. This is going to be perhaps the longest video, the most challenging one. So please give your undivided focus for this. This is something that I didn't even touch on last year. I was nervous teaching it, and I think we can do it. The first problem is the area is equal to 4 pi centimeters squared, and we're asked to solve for the circumference when given the area. Okay. The key is solving for the radius. Because look at this. The radius is in both circumference formula and the area formula. So if we're given the radius, we can solve anything in a circle. So I'm going to rewrite this here. We have area is equal to 4 times pi. I'm just rewriting it here. But what is the area formula? Well, it's pi r squared. So I can just write area here as pi r squared. What I did was I basically substituted this chunk in for the area. The area is pi r squared, then I can write it right here as well. The area is equal to 4 pi, so is pi r squared is equal to 4 pi. This is the most difficult step right here. This is a conceptual leap. But it's just substitution that we've had several practice with. Okay, now we need to find the radius. That's the key, because once I know the radius, then I know the circumference of the problem. For here, what I do to one side, I must do to both. Notice how both sides are being multiplied by pi. They're both multiplied by pi. If I have 2 markers in each hand, I'll show you visually. If I have 2 laptops in, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, if I have 2 markers in each hand, and if I drop one for each, am I still balanced? Absolutely, I'm still balanced. So if both sides are multiplied by pi, and if I take them away from both sides, the equation is still balanced. Now, I'm just going to write this in just so I can show you the steps. I went from here, and I took away the pi's to become this. R squared is equal to 4. Well, that ain't too bad now. What number squared is equal to 4? And if you ever need to look, you can look at the front page of your Do Now. That's why I had the squaring, the square roots in the Do Now. It's going to be 2. 2 squared is equal to 4. So, I'll just show you this. 2 squared is equal to 4. So what is my value for the radius? It's 2. 2 is the radius. Now, once I have the radius, I'm going to plug it in for the circumference formula. We have circumference is equal to 2 times pi times r. The circumference is equal to 2 times pi times 2. Circumference is equal to 4 pi. Yes. There it is. And this is my answer. Circumference is equal to 4 pi. And this is actually one that we did earlier. I purposely did this because I didn't want to make the videos really long. So my answers, it's going to be 4 pi centimeters or 12.56 centimeters. That's my answer for this. And if you're stuck, let me explain it with one more problem and hopefully it clicks. Okay. So, area is equal to 49 pi. The formula for an area is pi r squared, and And now I'm just dropping everything down. That's equal to 49 pi. And if I multiply both sides by pi, then I can take them away and the equation is still balanced. So this, I can eliminate both from both sides. And that gives me r squared is equal to 49. So what number, when multiplied by itself or squared, is 49? Well, 8 squared is 64, 6 squared is 36. Oh, right in the middle, it's going to be 7. So 7 squared is equal to 49, so then I know that r is equal to 7. The radius is 7. Now once we have the radius, we can solve for the circumference here. Circumference is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. And the radius is 7, so circumference is equal to 2 times pi times 7. Let's multiply these two first to save us some multiplication ease, to give us some ease. 7 times 2 is 14 pi. 7, so my answer, C is equal to 14 pi. This is one of our answers. Answers. 14 pi. Okay, that's, and then the units centimeters. And I'm going to do this multiplication a little bit faster because I've modeled multiplication several times and I don't want the video to be too long. But we have 3.14 times 14. First I'm going to see what it's close to. I'm going to round this to 3 and round, and this is 14. I know that 3 times 14 is going to be, 4 times 3 is 12, and 10 times 3 is 30. 42. My answer must be close to 42. I'm actually going to, because I've done these problems so many times, I'm going to save us some time. The answer is 43.56. Now, I didn't mean to cut this step to not do the multiplication, but I wanted to save time. So we have 43.56 centimeters. So it's going to be 14 pi and 43.56 centimeters. Okay. Now this, when you get this, if it matches up with what's reasonable, then I know that my answer is correct. My answer is reasonable. If I got 403.56, it's way too big. 4.356, way too small. Just right. The Goldilocks and the multiplying bears. Okay. Now the next two problems are a little bit more difficult, but I'm teaching you a mathematical shortcut, not like as a trick, but as something that I think develops your number sense. So we have area is equal to 78.5. Okay, so we have area is equal, we're doing this problem here, is equal to 78.5. Okay. Now, we're dropping everything down. Area is equal to pi times r squared is equal to 78.5. Okay, now before we could just easily drop both sides. Well, now let's try to isolate the radius here. So, this pi is multiplying the radius, so let's divide both sides by pi. These are going to cancel. Now I'm left with r squared is equal to 78.5 divided by pi, divided by 3.14. Now here's the key. Okay, I'm going to erase this and I'm just going to write this up. So we've got r squared, I'll write it in black, r squared is equal to 78.5 divided by pi. This division is going to be a nightmare. It's going to take you forever. It's basically how I would do it is how many times is 314 go into 7,850. It's going to be very frustrating. So this is the one case where I do want you to round these numbers. I want you to round 79 or 78.5 to 79 and pi to 3. Now I'm not going to get a whole number here, but I'm actually going to round this answer as well. Don't round this to 100, don't round this to 5, keep it pretty close. Let's do this division right here. How many times does 3 go into 79? 3 goes into 7 twice. 3 times 2 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring down the 9. 3 goes into 9. 26. Now, bring down the decimal point. Oops, sorry, 3 times 6 is 18. Minus 1. Bring down the 0. It's going to be 26.3 repeated. Okay. Let's take a break for a second. Let me describe what I did. We've gotten here. We divided both sides by pi, but I haven't done this division yet. R squared is equal, and then I rounded 79 from 78.5, and pi, which is 3.14, I rounded it to 3. I divided it, and I got this, 26.3 repeated. So, R squared approximately equal to 26.3 repeated. It's approximately, okay? We rounded, so it's not exactly, okay? Approximately. And here's the key. What number, look at your perfect squares. So our perfect squares are 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. This here is 1 squared, this is 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, and 6 squared, and so on. Which number, and you keep going, and you can refer to your do now sheets, which is this closest to? It's closest to the 25. If we had done this division out perfectly, it would have given us 25. But we rounded because the division would have taken us forever. So I know that the R squared is equal to 25. Now what number, when multiplied by itself, gives me 25? Well, that's 5. So the radius is going to be 5. 5 squared is equal to 25. Okay. Knowing that the radius is 5, I'm going to plug it in here. Circumference is equal to 2 times pi times r. Circumference is equal to 2 times pi times 5. Circumference is equal to 2 times 5 is 10 pi. So over here, my answers, one of them is 10 pi. Let's use the units. 10 pi and 10 pi centimeters, and if we multiply this out, thank goodness this multiplication is going to be easy. 10. If you're multiplying it by 10, the decimal moves one place to the right, which means that it increases 10 times. So we have 3.14, goes one place to the right, 31.4. And 31.4 centimeters. Now to make sure that this answer is reasonable, we can round the 10 pi, we can round the pi to 3, and this just drops here. 10 times 3 is 30. The 30 is very close to the 31.4. So I know my answer is reasonable. Alright. Now that was a mouthful and very difficult. Let me try to explain it with one more problem. Here we go. We have area is equal to 452.16 centimeters. Alright. the area formula is pi r squared, and I'm just dropping everything down, 452.16. Now, if you want to do this division, be my guest. But I also want to develop your number sense, and we can do some rounding. We're trying to figure out the radius. That's the key. That's the key. So we'll divide both sides by pi to get rid of this here, this inverse operation. This cancels. R squared is now equal to 452.16. Let me stop there and explain what I did. Area is equal to 452.16. I put the formula for area here. I just dropped it down. Area is pi r squared. I just dropped this number now. Now to solve for the radius, I divide both sides by pi, and that gives me r squared is equal to 452.16 divided by pi. Okay, so now I'm going to erase all this and just write this above. Okay, so we've got r squared is equal to 452.16 divided by pi. By the way, this is way above, I think, where you need to be, but I want to teach this to you anyway. I know this is a long video. We're going to round these numbers. R squared is equal to, let's round to 400, and you know, it's big enough, and if I round the 452 to 450, it's probably going to, it's not rounding too much. I'm not rounding to 500 or 400 or whatever. So let's try this. Okay, so now r squared, 450 divided by 3, and it's going to be 150. Now in our perfect squares, so we have 1, 2, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, and 144. Oh, all the way down here. So this is 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 1 squared. I'm sorry, 2 is not a perfect square. 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared. Let's start down here. This is 12 squared. What is 150 closest to? 12 squared. So what number, I'm sorry, this also should be approximately. Radius is equal to, the radius squared is equal to 144. We're rounding back. What number, when multiplied together, gets 144? And the answer is 12 is equal to the radius. 12 squared will give you 144. Now knowing that the radius is 12, let's go ahead and do this multiplication out. So circumference is equal to 2 times pi times r. Circumference is equal to 2 times pi times 12. Circumference is equal to 24 pi. So I know here that my answers, one of them is 24 pi centimeters. Yep, centimeters. And we'll go ahead and multiply this out. .4 times 3.14. Alright, I think it's going to be actually 78.56, but I'm just going to make sure. Let's go ahead and round. So this is 24, and this is 3. 4 times 3 is 12, and 20 times 3 is 60. So when I add these, my answer should be around 72. I'm going to quickly do this multiplication. Oops, okay, good. 1, 2, 3 is, oh yeah, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, 0, 6, 12, 13, 1, 5, and 7. Okay. There, I know there's 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal points. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm glad that I did this multiplication. I thought it was 78.56. It's 75.36. Once again, Goldilocks and the multiplying bears. This is too small, 7.536. This is too big, so it must be 75.36. And 75.36 centimeters. Wow, this video was really long. I'm going to give you instructions. These here are going to be for extra credit. These I need you to do. These ones here. I think that the video ends about halfway through of me teaching these. I would love for you to try these, but these are the ones that I really need you to do. Thank you so much, and I will see all of you tomorrow.